So I'll talk a little bit about what we do here and why we do it. And then I'd be interested in hearing from you in terms of why you are here, what you would like from today for yourselves, your purpose. Well, I'm also going to introduce our fabulous speakers. They are ladies who are excelling, who are within our Women in Leadership and the more broad coaching room community. And so we began Women in Leadership some 5.5 years ago. It's like bloody half a decade. And we began because we didn't experience there being a place for the development of just specifically women. And so there are lots of boys' clubs, lots of stuff that, you know, guys do to connect together. But as we looked out on the landscape, we didn't see much in terms of support for, you know, ladies' development, particularly in leadership. And then as we began to look deeper into it, I mean, the numbers of women on boards and in executive teams is nothing short of fucking appalling. Hey. And you know, so there's an inequality, but we're not about equality. Hey, I mean, why would you aim so low? that particularly there's masculine, feminine energy has got nothing to do with male, females, but particularly the feminine energy in and of itself in leadership is if there was, you know, an imbalance from in terms of masculine, feminine, the feminine energy fits and suits leadership so much more than the masculine energy that, you know, our experience is as women step into their power, not in a masculine but an expression of their feminine self, then they begin to lead like men don't. It's not that they cannot, they don't. And so the masculine energy is really about, you know, output. It's an inside-out energy. It's about results. It's about getting somewhere. It's about doing something. It's about a point. What's the point of our conversation? The feminine energy, however, isn't. It's relational. It's connective. It's about the embracing of chaos, the welcoming in of what is, presence. And so the feminine energy in and of itself really suits, you know, what we're looking into as we move over the next decade. It really suits what's emerging as the different style of leadership that's just beginning to take root in organisations, of a more connective relational space, a more connective relational style, a more communicative style of leadership, a more inclusive style of leadership. And so what sits at the very, very heart of feminine leadership is emotional intelligence. And what sits in really theory Y leadership that's still got its roots today, but goes all the way back into the 60s, is really directive, command, control, style, management. And so as we're moving from that style, a masculine style of, you know, here's what you need to do and here's how you need to do it and here's why you need to do it and here's, you know, to a self-managed space where people and leadership is going to be shared, not owned by an individual, but shared by the collective. So that leadership is not an individual thing. And so that's a feminine style of leadership. You see, I don't hold the power. We do. And so that's the style of leadership that is most definitely unfolding, and it comes from stages of development. And so Carol Gilligan, interestingly, in the 60s and 70s, did 20 years of study. And what she found out in terms of studying both men and women is that both men and women, masculine and feminine, evolve in the same way through I think 3 or 4 basic stages. And the first stage is egoic, That is, everything's about me. Hey, any of you got any kids? Any parents here? Yeah? If you've got kids, you'll know what that's like. Hey, it's like, screw you, you can't tell me what to do. Comes on about line about 7. And it's pre-conformist. And it's all about me. Hey, what I need, what I want. And it's the first stage of separation from the parents as the self begins to grow. Well, the next stage after pre-conformist is obviously conformist. And so conformist is now conforming with society's rules, conforming with family rules and family values, conforming with the culture around me. Because if the person doesn't evolve into that, then they start to break the rules and society starts to go, that's not acceptable. And so they're getting it not just from their parents, but they're getting it from their school, they're getting it from their teachers, they're getting it from their peers, they're getting it from everywhere. And so it's either conform or society will hold you to account. The third stage of development is called post-conformity. And post-conformity is about, I see the point of the rules, I see the point of those beliefs, I also see that they no longer work here. And so they are necessary but limited. The fourth stage that Carol Gilligan found, and she only found this emerging in the 70s, is post-conventional. And post-conventional is a pure acceptance of everybody's right where they're meant to be. Nobody needs to change anything. And in post-conventional, self-management has started to evolve in leadership. That is, there is no single one leader, but we all lead together connectively. We all lead together in a community, in a communion way. And so anybody can lead from anywhere at any time, unless they give up that power for themselves. So it's a personal expression of power. What Carol Gilligan found is we move through the stages, and as we move through those levels, care grows. And this is the difference between men and women. So on the female side, what she found, and she worked with about 20,000 people over that period of time, a lot of people, hey, is that over time care grew, and so on the female side it was relational, it was connective, and so care went from me to us, to the group, to all of us, women, to all of us, human beings. And so the level of care expands as the person's development expands, as their level of maturity expands. Men's went from self-care to justice and drive on behalf of more than me. So justice and drive for me, justice and drive for group, justice and drive for men, justice and drive for all of us. And so as a human being grows through stages, we evolve, a greater level of care comes online. And so in society, the amount of people currently, and this is measured through what's called a sentence completion test, is about 8% of people are at that post-conventional stage of development. 8% of us. And so that's growing, but you see it's still very limited. What we are about, as an organisation, we are about facilitating the development of that stage because it's called integrative. And so it's about integration. It's about beyond gender equality. It's about beyond rights. It's about beyond individual power. It's about awakening, enabling, and connecting at a very, very different level in service of a more real, expressive, vital expression of self. And that is why we do what we do. As a group, we are an executive coaching, we are an emotional intelligence and NLP training company, and we are about awakening that integrative stage in more people. And so why we do this is to facilitate your development if that's where you would like to go. About facilitating your awakening to what's next for you if that's what you're ready for. And so we hold women in leadership breakfasts on a monthly basis, and there's a form over there. If you're not on, if somebody has recommended you come here and you're not on our women in leadership list, then give us your email and we'll add you to the list. We have monthly breakfast on a Friday morning in our offices. We have about 20-25 women. It changes, so there's quite a lot of faces we see here, but we'd love to see more of you there. We'd love to run them on a fortnightly basis. We can't fit more than about 25 or 26 ladies in a room, and we wouldn't really want to, because the basis of that is a communion. It is a connection. It is a relationship. It is an unfolding together. There's not a me leading that. Although I'm up here introducing this today, I'm not leading this. There's not a me leading that. It's a you. It's all of us leading that. And if you come along to one of those breakfasts, we don't charge for them. It's part of our community charter. Then you will get a deep understanding of what we are truly, really all about at the coaching room, in service of you. And so Maxie's up the back. If you aren't on our list, please go and fill that in. Hello, welcome. So Max up the back. Say hello, Max. And Ibby, you'll notice Ibby because he's like one of those Ents. Anybody know what Lord of the Rings? Yeah. Well, the Ent is one of those massive trees, hey, and it takes a millennium to respond to you, hey, because it's got to think about things for a while. Well, that's Ibby. You'll see him. He looks like an Ent. You go, oh, there's the Ent. Max and Ibby are here, and say, Kelly, stand up, say hello. Max, Ibby and Kelly are partners of the coaching room. So they are involved with us at a very, very deep level, building their business within the coaching room on behalf of building our business. And so Ibby will be here, Max will be here helping out throughout the day. And so if you've got any interest in talking to us about anything, grab one of these and ask them more about what it is we do, how we do it, what we're about, if that is of interest to you. So the community, these community days came out of the breakfast series that we run, and so we asked the women who come along to the breakfast series, would you like us to put on and sponsor a day where you get to showcase you? And there was an overwhelming yes, we would love that. We've run one of these, and I think it was about November last year, and we had quite a few lists. We had about 35 ladies come along. We've got about 70 booked today. Whether 70 turns up or not is another thing. I think we've probably got about 45 or 50 here already. And so what you're going to see here today with us is I think 6 or 7, in our view, exceptional women who are stepping out and stepping up to their best, to express the vitality. We're not paying any of them, you're not paying any of them. They're here because they want to share with you what's in their heart. They want to share with you what they're moved to share, what they've been moved to share through their own evolution, through their own development. And so, this is a space where we as a collective honour that. We are about creating a community of people oriented toward life, toward the expression of true vitality. And when we get to the integral is about letting go of ego and simply showing up as I am here today. Not my story, not my history or my her story, not who I take myself to be, but who I am here. A true expression of my heart, a true expression of my soul, a true expression of what I'm moved to express here today. And so we are about freeing people, if that's your bag as well, from their ego, from the thing that holds them back from expressing their vitality. And so these ladies here today are stepping into their expression of their vitality. And so ladies, if you'd like to stand up, speakers, hello. So we got Kelly, over this side of the room, we've got Cheryl Ray. Yeah, Naz. I call her Snazzy because she's pretty snazzy. Amanda. Hey. Yvette. Casey. And Kellyanne. Hey. And so, before we get into this, they're going to be delivering, I think, how long, Kellyanne? 20-minute, short, sharp snapshots of what they're moved to share in terms of their development with you. Before we do that, what we're interested in hearing from you so that we can really ground this in something purposeful is, why are you here? Why are you moved to be here? What's the purpose? What do you want to see out of today for yourself? What moved you to go, you know what, I think I might give up my heartbeats for this Saturday to this? It looks in. Why do that for yourselves? So turn to the person next to you and have a quick chat, and then we're going to ask a few of you to share in a voluntary way. And of course, if we don't have volunteers, we'll move to involuntary volunteers. So share a couple of minutes each way. Share, why are you here? How do you know you're happy? By comparing it to when you were not. So you have to hold on to both. Hey, otherwise, how are you going to know you're happy? I'm happy today. Why, what's happening? Oh, this work's been going really well. Well, that presupposes when work doesn't go well, you're not going to be happy. And so why give your power over to the environment when happiness, joy, is your life force? Vitality is yours. It's not because of anything. It's like love. No one can give it to you. No one can take it from you. And so why would you give it your power of joy and love to the environment? It's Looney Tunes. And so if we cannot not develop, then I'll let you in a little secret. If you want more joy in your life, let go. Be where you bloody well are. Hey, here, now, in this moment is where joy exists. Not because of anything, but because it's your birthright. And that's what we're about, realizing that. Because when you can realize that, you don't need to do anything for joy. You don't need to be anything or have anything or go anywhere. It's not about money. It's not about the man. It's not about, the house. It's not about the job. It's not about any of that. It's not even about you. It's simply your birthright. Well, now what's possible as you unleash your vitality? Now what's available as you bring vitality to everything? And we call it self-actualization and self-realization. Thank you, Harriet. And so that's what we're all about. Unleashing human vitality, and it isn't in any doing. It isn't in any having. It's in you. One more. Why are you here? Marina, why are you here? That's what you call an involuntary volunteer.
So I'm here. I recently a year and a bit ago, had a baby, and so I've been out of the circle for a little while, and so I'm here today to reconnect with all the lovely people that are in the community and just really kind of energize myself through your energy, and then share some energy back to just, I don't know, just feel good.
Yeah.
And get inspired and be inspired, and then inspire others. So thanks.
Yeah, good job. Thank you, Marina. And so, less about me and much more about you. So pretty much from this point forward, you're going to hear from these, what I think, are just extraordinarily vital women expressing themselves. We will talk a little bit about a development program that we're building for women in leadership. That's a public development program. We're only proposing it at the moment, and we would love your feedback. And so up the back here, you'll see our development program proposal for public development, and they're over here as well. And then we have a survey we'd like you to to complete for us, to tell us what you think of this proposal, to tell us if it's valuable for you or not. And so I'll talk a little bit about that before we go to lunch. And we'd love you to complete the survey. Ibby, the ent, up the back, has a form to collect your emails. And so A, if you're not on the Women Leadership email, go up and see him and put yourself on that. And B, put yourself on it so that we can send you the survey so that you can complete the survey and give us feedback of what you think of this development program. We think it's the flagship program that we've created ever. It is a culmination of a decade of work by Joseph, myself and the partners here of the coaching room. And it's a direct result of everything we've ever run. And we think it's nothing short of fucking exceptional, but we'd love your feedback. We'd love what you think of it, because it's not about us, it's about you. So if you're interested in helping us either shape that, change it, or drop it, we're open to all of that. Go grab one, have a chat to one of the partners about what the program will entail. Come have a chat with me and then complete the survey. So, Kellyanne, would you like to come on up?
Yes, I would.
Take ownership of development ourselves. And so part of that is in your expression as a woman, as a human being. And so, first and foremost, can we give Kellyanne a hand? And so I'd just like to really honour your courage to show up here, despite what's going on for you.
Oh, thank you.
And for not just showing up, but showing up.
Thanks.
As you. So, very beautiful. And just to talk to a little bit of, what you've brought up, the myth of confidence, is that, each of us is love. We don't have to find it, because it isn't out in the world. It's you. So if you fall in love with a man, or you fall in love with a woman, or you fall in love with, something out there in the world, house or whatever, do you get that it's you you're falling in love with? It's you giving yourself permission to experience love, which is you. Hey, you see, if we look at the basic construction of you as a human being, you are a full and complete expression of love. Atoms come together to form electrons, come together to form cells, come together to form an organism called you. Hey, those cells come together in union, in communion, and they are literally holding together you. Well, that's love. You are it. No one can give it to you. No one can take it from you. You don't need to cultivate it. You are it. It's your birthright. Most human beings we meet are out there looking around for love. When it's like, it's you. You meet somebody and you go, oh, I just love her. I love him. He's beautiful. No, you don't. You give yourself permission to switch on your love. Hey, hello, that's it. Oh, he meets my criteria. She meets my criteria. I'm going to switch that switch on. And so why not switch it on and leave it on? And now love becomes a way of being. Not in a soft, because love's often hard, hey?
Hard?
Hard. Harsh.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, well, it was interesting when you just said about the love thing and switching it on and switching it off, because what I'm doing every morning is getting up really early and going out and on a walk and looking at the sunrise, and then I'm filled with this love, but I'm getting my fix of my own love.
Yeah.
Actually, I could probably bypass that. I mean, it's lovely to go out
Lovely.
there. It's lovely
Yeah.
to go out and take a picture of the sunrise and just be and look at the ocean and have this awe and wonder. It's beautiful. But why do I? Okay, I'm going through stuff at the moment, and so it's helping. But why do I, like you say, flick it on and off? Why not leave it on all the time?
And so for love, for most people, love is rule-based. Hey, if these things happen in reality, I give myself permission to feel love. Well, how ridiculous. But you see, that's our conditioning. We've been conditioned to hold rules and standards and ideals and beliefs and structures of consciousness in order to experience our birthright. How ridiculous. Switch it off now, switch it on then. That wasn't, that was a rude thing to say. I don't love you anymore. I don't think I want to be with you anymore. I'm out. Hey, divorce. Done. Whereas, divorces can come and go. Rude people can come and go. But you see, why would I give them my birthright, my right to be love in this moment, and to experience the joy of being a human being, even though they might hit the criteria called rude or lovely. Same thing. Just a different label. But you see, it's in here, it's not out there. You can't find it, you can't get it, it's not localized, it's you. And so, over to you, what came up for you in your groups? If anything. I mean, I certainly heard a lot of chatter. So I know something came up for some people. Hey, and it took a long time to get you back. So, Sherry's?
Yeah, our group. We had a conversation in our group about the ability to be authentic was very context dependent.
Okay.
Is there in some contexts and not in others? In particular, where our conversation centred was in a workspace, especially in a more male-dominated environment, how difficult that was to live your truth.
Yeah. And so that's giving your power to the male-dominated environment, hey? That's giving your power to the environment versus going, I choose to express what's inside on the outside, regardless of what you think. That's good self-realization, because now I don't give a shit what you think. Hey, you're going to think what you're going to think, and it's based on your own beliefs and your own standards, so any of your judgment back to me tells me about you, not about me. Hey, so you judge me, you think, he swears a lot, doesn't he? He's a bit rude, he's a bit kind of direct. Hey, not sure if I like him. Well, that's not about me, that's about your standards, your beliefs, your values, your systems. And so if you come up and told that to me, I go, that's lovely. Thank you for sharing you.
So Jay, in the workspace in particular, there are certain behaviours that get recognised. So those masculine behaviours are what are rewarded.
Sure.
So you do.
I think if you want to move on,
You believe.
I believe.
Yes, you do.
I do believe. I think.
I hear that, yeah.
I believe that in certain environments, in order to progress, you have to demonstrate the behaviours.
You do.
I have to demonstrate the behaviours that are expected.
Yeah. And so, whilst that's true for you, how's it limiting you?
Well, for me at the moment, and this is what I shared in our group, I've just stopped trying.
Do you hear that? And so do you hear how your belief is maintaining the status quo to the point where now you're allowing the environment to shape you rather than you going out and shaping it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm here today, because I find when I'm here in this room, it all makes perfect sense, and I kind of have these thoughts about how I'm going to go off and do things differently.
Yeah.
And then within 2 minutes, I slip back into my old ways. And I'm so busy that I don't have time to think about it. And then when I come to a place like this, I suddenly realise how badly I've let it go.
Yeah. And so human development is about taking that realisation and realising it in reality, hey?
Yeah.
And it takes, and so please, I'm going to honour, it takes an enormous amount of courage. But you know what, I know that you have courage, because I've seen it. Katrina, I've seen your courage. And so it takes an enormous amount of courage to put yourself out there to be seen and judged by other people's standards. But you see, there comes a time where it just stops mattering. And if that environment isn't conducive to your true expression, then maybe it's time to find a new environment. Hey. Or to be the leader who changes that environment. Yeah. I'm not saying any of that's easy, because it's not. Human development isn't easy. But you see, development isn't within your comfort zone. It's at the edge of your comfort zone. And so in order to push development, each of us has got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Right. Can you do that?
I find at the moment I'm physically tired.
Yeah.
And
because you're conforming, you see.
And I'm just racing around trying to do so many things that I just don't have time to be, pushing myself forward.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about life is about vitality, I just feel like at the moment I just can't find my vitality.
Yeah. Do you see you're channeling in to showing up the way other people want you to show up, Katrina? That's costing you your vitality. Stop that. Or not. Stay where you are. Stay tired. Hey.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's what costs us our vitality, is the fact that we're not willing to express what's on the inside. Costs us. Hey. Well, I don't know about you, but as a human being, I know that I'm probably going to go to about 80 or 90. Yeah, maybe a hell of a lot less, I don't know. Cancer could take me out, hey. But I do know that I have a finite number of heartbeats. And fucked if I'm giving them away to idiots. And so the question for you is, how are you, because heartbeats are the true thing you exchange. How are you going for the exchange, Katrina?
Yeah, what came up in our group was the contextual in different environments and with different people. And then, Dana, if you don't mind me sharing, how you said that you wouldn't go to a meeting with clients with your hair down. Yeah, because there's been some research that, I don't know where you found this research.
I found a couple of times actually from different research. I don't know if it was the same
Yeah.
research.
Okay. But it's a rule that you're imposing on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a conformist rule.
Yeah.
Hey, and can you see that by tying your hair up, you're making your hair more like a man?
Yes, and that I'm very conscious of that.
Yeah.
And that was also the conclusion they made
Yeah.
in the research.
Yeah. I reckon there's enough men.
Well, on that point, I was building on Dana's point. Often the same thing, I would go to a meeting and I would think, I'm going into Macquarie Bank today, I better put a jacket on. No, fuck that, I'm going to wear my denim jacket because that makes me feel better. And so when I go in there, I'm actually much more convincing and persuasive because I am myself, rather than donning on the banking suit that conforms me to them, and then I'm less convincing or less authentic.
Yeah. Yeah, good for you. One or two more sharings. Come on, ladies, find your voice. You get that your sharing isn't for you. Hey, and so don't be so bloody selfish. Linda?
It was interesting in our group, we very much had that same theme of contextualised environments and working in dominant environments, and one of the younger ladies shared that she thought she was kicking it and killing it in her environment, and then she's gone away, had this trip away, and then gone, maybe I'm not. And it was fascinating that what I also discovered from what she was saying, she's working in the same environment, but I realised from where I'm coming from as well that the men in my environment too at the moment are giving me permission to be less harsh on myself.
Right.
because the one thing I've noticed about them recently, by having to step up, having to be more confident, having to have a voice, because they're so used to having it, and I need to actually voice an opinion because it's my professional role to do so, they actually give me that permission. They're not bothered. Some of them are, but I don't give a fuck anymore, because it's like, well, this is my opinion, you pay me to give you an opinion, so I'll give you my fucking opinion. Either way. And they go, oh, what she said. And they're accustomed, like, I've just been in and gone in as myself, and they've just accepted that this is the way I am. And I don't, like the other lady said before, I don't wear the jacket anymore, I don't wear the hair down, I don't wear it up, I don't wear makeup, and they don't give a shit.
No, they're too busy worrying about themselves.
Yeah, they are.
Their own makeup.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, their own mask, hey.
Yeah, so I found it really interesting that through that process of talking about being authentic and the others, and we're on our own process of discovery here, is that it's scary as hell sometimes to step up into that space. And I know I felt that self-doubt, and I thought, oh shit. And then I thought, well, you know what? They're going to make up their own mind. And I'm coaching people in my environment at the moment to help them understand that when we deliver in the change that we're putting in, there's a whole myriad of people who are going to go through a range of things. They're going to think what they want to think. They're going to decide. They're going to do a whole bunch of other stuff. And here's how to help yourself manage them, because we're asking them to manage on our behalf and to lead on our behalf. So I just find that it's quite a challenge sometimes in that environment, but we forget sometimes that men are quite okay with giving us permission if we take it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And so before we go to Amanda, there's a space beyond authenticity, because do you see authenticity as a construct? And so authenticity and you know, my expression of my authentic self is still, I'm expressing a construct. Well, there's a space beyond there which is pure expression. It isn't of anything, but it's all me anyway. So, you know, how can I not express me? So do you see, to say authenticity is you know, the be all and the end all, well, that's just a construct. There's beyond that, where there's nothing but me to express, actually. And that beyond there only comes online when a human being is willing to give up their self. If that makes any sense to you at all. It's about putting down the need to be seen. And it's the hardest thing a human beings can do. Is be seen by anybody. To all of it's a construct. And so then there's simply the truth. And let me tell you, people don't like hearing it. It's fabulous that I haven't seen anyone leave so far, because you know, normally when I share this truth, people are like, "You Fruit Loop." Hey. But you see, there is only truth. Most of us are avoiding it. The truth of the situation, the truth of the politics, the truth of the bad marriage, the truth of the, you know, my child grew up an arsehole. I've got two of them. One's trying desperately to kill himself, and the other's trying desperately to get himself into jail. You know, and it's all parcel of it. It's all part. But yet both of them have given me a deeper understanding of me than I could have ever imagined without them. So, Amanda?
In our group, we actually went in a different way, and we talked about our intention for being here today. And it was interesting that pretty much everyone agreed that they wanted to be more here, present now, authentic, the construct. And
a beautiful one, though.
A beautiful one, and really interesting. As the whole discussion that we're having this morning is really an expression of, I think that small group was actually a reflection of all of you. I think everyone's here today to connect to just being here, present now.
Yeah.
And connecting to each other authentically.
Well, that's just a perfect expression of the feminine, isn't it? Hey, just to be here. For no other reason than to be here. See what unfolds. Hey. Whereas masculine, I can tell you, if this is a group of blokes, they'd be going, what's the point? Where are we going with this? What's the output? Where's the results? What can I take away? And so there's the difference. Do you see? The world needs less of that because we got enough of it. It's important, but we got enough. It's like, now let's cultivate something else. Let's transcend, include this. So that, yeah, we know we can come back to a point. We know that results are important. We know that moving towards an outcome is important. And we also know that not doing that is also important. That leadership is a connective space. Somebody said, followership, I want to follow Harriet. Said she came out to Australia because she wanted to become a follower. Well, that's the ultimate expression of a leader in our world. You see, it's called servant leadership. You're in service of others is pure leadership. That's feminine leadership. High five. Did you know you were leading by hey, now you do. That's in service of, and so if there's an apex, yeah, normal organisations, at the top is the CEO, and then the management team, the executive team, then the management team, and then the structures below that, middle managers, you know, and down here is you know, the plebs, the people who sell stuff, and the people who service and customer care and all that sort of thing, and all of this as in service of this. That's the wrong way around. Hey, flip it up, boom. Now the CEO's job is to be in service of that. That's servant leadership. The executive team, the management team, the middle managers are all on behalf of the employees who are all on behalf of the clients. That's turning you know, our general business hierarchies on their ass where they need to be turned. And that's followership. So leadership and followership are the same thing. The two sides of the same coin. And that's what we're talking about here in Women in Leadership. Is how do I access and apply, you know, who I am right here, just simple expression in service of connecting, in service of relating, in service of being in service. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah. Taya?
I was just going to say that being here has made me realise how important it is for me to be here. Just because I did the practitioner probably 2 years ago now, and I felt like I was starting to find my voice then, and I felt like I was learning more about myself, and I was kind of on this journey, and I have been since then, but I feel like being here again has made me realise how far I am from that and how much I really want to explore that more. So I've been thinking about going to the Women in Leadership breakfast for quite a long time, but now I've decided that I'm going to go. So
good job. Yeah. And just catch your language, darling. It didn't make you do anything.
Say that again.
Being here didn't make you
No,
realise
I just feel like
anything.
something stirred in me that I remembered from before, which I forget about sometimes when I leave this space.
Yeah, and so to catch your power in this, you did that.
Yeah.
This space didn't do it. You did in the face of this space. Now take the space away and do it everywhere.
Yeah. I'll give it a go.
Good job. Yeah, make it a white hot go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say with our group.
What was your name first?
I'm Dinah.
Dinah.
We had a discussion around self-belief and authenticity.
Right.
And a few of us are at different levels of discovering what we truly believe and are enjoying being able to talk to people about what we truly believe.
Sure.
And what I've noticed is as I've been doing that journey, both physically and emotionally, I feel better.
Yeah, good job.
Because when you don't, when I don't, I'm putting stress on myself because I'm not being myself.
Right.
And there's a lot of emotional and physical stress going on in the world, and has been in my world.
Yeah.
And I feel great because I've stopped doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, Dinah, what's next for you is to give up those beliefs. Self-belief's a load of shit. I wouldn't recommend it. Hey, It's very powerful until it's not. So beliefs are like a greenhouse. You know, if we plant an oak tree in a pot and stick it in a greenhouse, the greenhouse is going to give it the environment to grow up faster. Well, that's what belief structures are. They're structures to enable us to grow faster, to conform, to become an integral part of society. But you see, if we don't remove the greenhouse, the oak cannot self-actualize. It cannot become, it's going to hit the top and start retarding, and eventually it'll kill it. What was there to grow it up is now holding it back, and that's true for beliefs as well. And it's true for self-belief, because what's the self you're believing in? And so, hold on, I'm going to stop believing in myself. Did anything change? Oh, I'm still here. Yep. Phew. Yeah. And so beliefs are wonderful until now they start to hold us back. When we reach the edge of what we believe to be true, which is a map about reality, suddenly we go, I don't know what to believe anymore. Well, that's the time where we can leave the stratosphere of beliefs if we choose to, and simply go with, what's my experience here? You know, and it's beyond trust in self, because there's just experiencing. It's like, I'm going to show up no matter what happens, and Kellyanne's word, respond to reality, respond with it as part of it. And so there's true self-expression, because I don't know what I'm going to say next. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I have no idea. Isn't that fabulous? Life's pretty boring when it's all mapped out, don't you think? Hey, when I know how the day is going to go, and what I'm going to say, and how I'm going to say it, and who I'm going to... how boring. I don't get to meet you as you are, other than you who I take you to be, because you're not who I think you are. You're you. And so if I put all that down, I get to experience, hey, there's Dinah today, expressing herself in who she is in this moment. Now that's worth getting up for me. Thank you, Dinah.
I'd like to share, Jay. I've heard you use that story about being in a greenhouse and limiting yourself with the tree growing in the greenhouse, and it getting to the point where it's not enough. Greenhouse nurtured the plant to the point where it was big enough. The other day I was walking through the botanical gardens, and there's a beautiful pyramid greenhouse in the botanical gardens. Has anyone seen it? Beautiful. It's just breathtaking. I almost stood there for about 5 minutes looking at it. They're renovating that greenhouse and pulling it down. Do you know why? Because they put palm trees in it, and the whole top of that greenhouse is dead. The beautiful entities that were growing in it, that were stunning at one point to look from outside and inside, are now dying.
Yeah. And so that's you. Thank you, Ibby. That's you see. And so, you know, we are in Women in Leadership about shattering that greenhouse, because if you're here, it's probably done its job. It served you. Hey, I got you here. The question for you, and the question for you, Katrina, is will it get you there? Anything else?
Yeah, I didn't mention trust once in my talk because I was doing a real overview. But it comes down to trust, trusting that we have all the resources, that we don't know what's coming next, but just trusting it, not just trust.
Yeah.
Not just trust. Yeah.
So give her a hand. And then we'll have a 15-minute break, so it's 12 now. Down that way, if you go down that way where the university gym is a place called Ralph's Cafe.